All right, so thank you everyone for joining us today. We are very pleased to present this webinar. It's actually a little bit different than some of the other webinars because we are very pleased to be offering a joint session today with Creato Performance Solutions. And as you can see on your screen right now, we are going to be speaking about which projects to fund and manage when all projects are critical. And I'm sure this is something that we have all dealt with at some point in our careers if we're not dealing with it right now. So today, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you could be sure to mute your microphones just so that we prevent any background noise from coming in while the webinar is going. Also, we will be recording today's session. It will be made available on the EZSigma YouTube channel, and you will also receive a link to this webinar by email. So for those of you that are familiar with us, with EZSigma, it's wonderful to reconnect with you. But for those of you who are learning about us for the first time, we just wanted to give you a little bit of information so you can see our vision and mission statement on the screen right now. But we are very passionate about process improvement. Specifically, we do specialize in Lean Six Sigma training and consulting, but we do offer a wide range of services, including strategic planning and the full gamut. So that's just a little bit about us as far as where we come from. We have been around since 2000, and we're very pleased to be able to offer a full 360-degree solution. So that runs right from training through to different softwares that your organization may need, project management, and as I mentioned today, we are partnering in this webinar with Creato. And specifically, you're going to hear reference to the Compass software, PPE software, which is an amazing tool. So today's facilitator is Ian. I have no doubt you're going to find him very engaging and very knowledgeable. He has been the president and CEO with Creato since, I believe, 1998, and was key in developing the Compass software. Prior to that, he specialized within the healthcare industry, and he has done work across several continents, including Europe, the Middle East, Australia, and North America. So he is definitely an expert in performance solutions and performance improvement. So he's also a published lecturer, and he's got a lot of different articles out there. If you haven't come across them already, then I strongly recommend you take a look at some of his articles. He's got a wealth of information, and I have no doubt, again, that you are going to enjoy listening to today's webinar. So we do have a few objectives we're going to cover. We want to begin by just speaking a little bit about how to determine a project's viability. What does that look like? How do we decide where to go? Also, some of the benefits of using a project portfolio management software and how that can really help you and your team become more efficient and effective in your projects. And lastly, we're just going to talk about some of the capabilities of these solutions. So at this point, Ian, I'm going to pass it over to you. And once again, just a final reminder, please mute your microphones. And Ian, it's on to you.
Thank you, Liz. Give me just a second here to share my screen with the audience. Can you let me know, Liz, if that looks correct?
Yep, we're all good.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Thank you for that great introduction. So hello, everybody. We are excited to be EZSigma's partner here in the US, a relationship we announced earlier this year. At Creato, we believe leaders should have all the tools they need to lead, train, and sustain improvement. Today, we'll be looking at one of those tools. As Liz pointed out, the tool fits the category known as PPM, Project Portfolio Management. You know, most of us these days probably use PPM tools in our private lives to manage investments, you know, through brokerage firms and their websites. And so stands to reason we would want to use similar tools to disposition opportunities and to determine which projects to resource in our organizations. So let's get into the business case for PPM. We're going to share some of the resources you can obtain to learn more about it. We're going to describe some of the tools you can use today to begin practicing it. And we'll have a peek at the state-of-the-art platform, which we call Compass. So what we've learned from over 2 decades of guiding quality and improvement programs is that, simply put, it's not just about doing things right, it's about doing the right things. Now, this maxim is both poetic and likely abundantly obvious to everybody. So, what is the problem? Well, the problem is we often don't follow it. In an organization's desire and sense of urgency to establish quick wins, quick wins are attractive, they're quick, it's a win. But we often find that organizations are sponsoring and resourcing, frankly, very marginal projects that might not be aligned with the strategic priorities of the organization. Organizations that make a full commitment to new methodologies might find after a year of trying that they're exhausted from that effort. The pipeline is not replenished, reproducibility stalls. Guess what happens at that point? They blame the method when it was really the execution that was to blame for their failure and marginal results. So the solution is in something that has come to be known now as project portfolio management. As I mentioned, this is something that we probably don't realize that we're doing through some of our financial investments, but it is coming into other industries and making a big impact. So as a starting point to appreciate the benefits, let's look at what the CFO from Panasonic said about it. He said, by using project portfolio management, organizations get a bird's eye view of the operations, they can coordinate timelines, they can develop priorities, and they can allocate resources. That's just one quote from nearly a half dozen white papers we've collected that make the business case for PPM. It started with research think tanks, and now all the big consulting houses are pushing their own version of it. You won't need to pay a consultant for the wealth of knowledge and tools that we're prepared to offer. Offering you today includes any of the white papers that you see here. But since we've read all of them, let's take a look at some of the findings, as well as some of the return on investment that we validated on our own. What you can see here is a sampling of some of those white papers. Probably the most compelling up there in the upper right-hand corner. Whoops, apologize for that. That a comprehensive PPM tool is likely to provide a return on investment of more than 250%. We validated that through our own customers, which typically report that they've recovered the cost of their investment from their very first project. The one that I'm most excited about, and that I've actually observed in my own travel around organizations that are using these tools, is that a PPM makes everyone more productive by automating tasks and report production. I don't know if you fall into this category, but I've seen many executives spend entire afternoons, if not an entire week, preparing reports for consumption by internal audiences, PowerPoint decks, management reports. If you step back and look at that effort and the time that you're spending doing that kind of activity, you have to recognize the fact that this is not value added. We're not improving anything. We're creating content for consumption by internal audiences. And when a PPM is fully deployed and fully populated, that time will be returned to you because people can pull the information to them when they want it, rather than having them receive it being pushed to them. So if we're serious about lean and we want to practice what we preach, a PPM tool fits right into that commitment. So if our focus is on doing things right and doing the right things, how do we go about doing that? And how does a PPM support that specifically? A PPM is going to promote engagement. It's going to promote collaboration. It's going to create alignment. And I'm going to show you a few ways in which we can do that. First with a very low-tech approach, and then taking a look at the Compass platform. This is a tool that I've used throughout my career before we had the opportunity to take advantage of Compass. It's objective, it's democratic, it's very low tech. You'll get it if you receive this deck, and you can begin putting it to use in your organization. And you may use something like this comparable today. Very simply, we're taking mutually exclusive criteria. We're putting a Likert scale on that criteria. We're adding up the benefits or risks from these different opportunities, and we're comparing them. So if you didn't have anything better than this, then I'm delighted to make this available. And again, this is a market-tested tool. As informal as it looks, it has been used in many different organizations hundreds and hundreds of times. But it is low tech, and I'd like to show you what we consider to be a better approach by sharing some screens and views into the Compass system. So here we have essentially the same approach, but now it's in an automated platform that is available to all employees. If you look on the right-hand side, you'll see we've taken that matrix and we've basically put it on this particular screen here with a comparison of the impact to the risk of a particular project opportunity. And now in the Compass system, you can change the field titles and you can change the responses. It's highly customizable, but most organizations that have used this approach do like it. Behind every one of the responses that you see on the right is a numerical value. Those numerical values take the form of an algorithm. Simply what we're doing is we're going through this and we're establishing the merits of this particular opportunity, and Compass is adding up the values. If you are the kind of person that needs a very clear and unambiguous operational definition, you simply click on the help menu and it will give that to you. So here we have an opportunity for employees to very quickly establish the merits of a project, and Compass guides that process. What we can do then is we can publish those to the rest of the organization. And when you're getting hundreds and hundreds of ideas thrown at you from all directions, it's difficult to really make any decisions or to disposition those opportunities. But with a product like this, they're all going into one place, and through the dynamic sorting, you can find those sweet spots of opportunities that have a high impact, have a low risk. And if we're serious about not just doing things right, but doing the right things, hopefully it's obvious to you how this can be very supportive of that goal. Compass will automatically default to the very top of the list, the most compelling opportunities. And we would never say that a score of 11 is more compelling than a score of 9. We're really looking here at relative contribution. But at the end of the day, we really feel it's important to focus on those really compelling opportunities first, recognizing that every opportunity will have its day in court. So scrolling through a couple of different examples of organizations that have used the Compass platform over the years, showing you that the different people coming in here and adding those different ideas. And in our most recent iteration of Compass, as you see here, we're bringing in some social media tools in the form of the stars and the ratings. Now we're able to really tap into the intellectual capital of the organization and let people vote on these ideas. So if you happen to be a Compass user and you see an idea, you can go into the system and you can put in some comments. I'm not showing you the comments on this particular screen, but you see the stars, and Compass will average in all of the stars from all previous users. Again, you have the filters. So if you wanted to drill into certain parts of the organization and see, where are the opportunities, if you're a multi-hospital system, those can be separate facilities. If you have multiple business areas, of course, you can drill in and see, where are the needs, where are the opportunities across the enterprise. To be truly high tech these days, you need to have a mobile app, and feedback that we were getting from our clients was that they love this concept of a democratic approach to ideation, but they don't want to have to run back to their computers every time they get an idea, every time there's an inspiration. If it's in a hallway conversation, if it's in a conference room, in a meeting, they want to be able to put it in right away. And so now there is a mobile app available. So as you can see here, we've sort of shrunk down that view into something that still is accessible on a mobile device. People can drill in, they can read about these ideas, they can vote on them, and they can add, as you can see in the upper right-hand corner of my little phone image there, they can add new ideas from their phone. I like to say that while Compass is all about getting work done, the companion, which is the mobile app, is all about employee engagement. So the combination can be very powerful in organizations that really want to take their improvement capability to the next level. So for many organizations, this is a really important element in their process of ideation. But of course, improvement goes well beyond ideation. Once the idea has been vetted and dispositioned, and the project has been resourced, this is where PPMs really shine. So you'll find that you're able to complete more projects faster. And that comes through various tools and resources that are available to in that platform. First of all, people are going to be kept focused on the work, and so a PPM is going to remind users when they are approaching milestones, and definitely if they're missing milestones, so they can keep focused on the work. It's going to alert them about new ideas coming into the application, so that members of management can give those new ideas the appropriate attention, so that employees don't feel that there's a black hole in the organization. So we like to talk about Compass as putting improvement on autopilot, because it can be exhausting to follow up with people, over and over about the status of their ideas or their projects. But with the automated alerts, we're sort of putting in improvement on autopilot. We're sort of oiling the process and giving it some forward momentum and velocity. One of the most important aspects of any kind of a platform that's going to drive improvement is that users feel supported. If users don't feel supported, they're going to make excuses for not doing the work, or they're going to take shortcuts, or they're going to abandon the project. And so a competent PPM is going to make users feel supported. That can take the form of tools and training, so that at every step of the way, they're getting the support and the resources and the answers that they need on how to move those efforts forward. We're going to create a level of transparency so that across the organization, everyone has visibility into what's happening, what are the improvement activities, and where are they in their project life cycle. And through everything that I've just shared here, the ultimate goal here is accountability to get the work done so that the organization can achieve the benefits. A few more screenshots, and here you can see the vast array of actually live projects, where in a previous view I was showing you just ideas. Those ideas moved through the pipeline, became dispositioned, and became actual live projects. In the upper left-hand corner, you're seeing different licensees of the application, because when Compass is deployed, it's important that it's deployed with your logo and with your users, so that people are in a familiar environment, and that's one of the first steps towards promoting adoption. Again, you have the filters up above, so if you wanted to look into, if you were a member of management and you wanted to see, how many projects is Cynthia undertaking right now? Can she take on another project? Does she have the capacity? You have those filters up there, up above, that you can drill into specific views. One of the things I find interesting about this particular view here, because I happen to know this organization, it's a mental health network in El Paso, Texas, is that the people that you see here that are using the application have had virtually no formal training in quality improvement. They were put into this program with virtually no experience in quality improvement, yet look at the contribution that they're making, because they're being guided through the directional assistance that Compass provides, that I'll talk about a little bit later. We're moving in a new direction with our reporting and moving into these sort of dashboard views that you can see here. This is a prototype, although it is live in one of our customers right now. We want to get to more of these sort of visual and dashboard types of views that management really appreciates. So we're taking some of the existing reports and moving them into this kind of a view. So if you were a user and you wanted to click on that number 37 in the upper left-hand corner, you'd see all the ideas in the pipeline. If you wanted to see the 17 completed projects, you click in that box, it would take you to that information. And if you look in the very, very upper left-hand corner there, you see LOB, that stands for lines of business, so that technically you could have a separate dashboard for every department that is being supported by the tool. So as I've been sort of teasing you along the way here, talking about the Compass Quality Management System, this is the tool that we have partnered with EZSigma on to help to introduce it to the Canadian market. It does fit, although we call it a quality management system, and is supporting organizations, a lot of health systems, a lot of organizations that are pursuing ISO 9001 compliance. But after having said all that, it does tend to fit in the software category known industry-wide as project portfolio management. And I'd like to just give you sort of a very high-level view of its architecture, and then we have time, we can actually get into the live system and just give you a very quick peek at that. So it all begins with identifying opportunities, as you see in there in the upper left-hand corner, and this gives you an opportunity to collect ideas from as large a group as you feel is appropriate. Some of our organizations really literally view Compass as an electronic employee suggestion box. We have a licensee with 7,000 users that are putting ideas into the system. We like to say that you don't have to argue about what to work on any longer. Compass will automatically prioritize those ideas, as I showed you in the prior example. The most compelling ideas will be put to the very top of your view, and through a smaller group, we call it the governance group. The governance group behind Compass is a set of users, probably some of the folks that are on this call, that are debating those opportunities right now, and you're meeting right now, and you have your quality groups, and you have your improvement committees, and really this just becomes an agenda item for those existing committees to look into Compass and to make those final decisions about which projects to resource. This is where Compass is probably really distinguishes itself in terms of guiding the work. Compass is agnostic to the methodology. If you practice Lean, Compass has a Lean methodology built in. DMAIC, the methodology of Six Sigma, is already in there. PDCA, the model for improvement, which is a popular approach taken by health systems in Canada, already in Compass. And if you have a unique methodology that we haven't heard of, we can program it in for you. And just like clinical protocols in the health setting are intended to keep the patient safe and the practitioner safe, these protocols in Compass are intended to keep the quality improvement professionals safe by holding their hand and guiding them through the work. Compass will recommend the best tools and training based on where you are in your project. If you're a Six Sigma black belt, maybe you don't need the training, but you'll appreciate that the tools are being recommended and that they're literally one click away. If you're new to improvement work, or you don't have a lot of experience in improvement work, this can be one of the most important features of the platform and is consistent with our design philosophy of making users feel supported. Again, if users don't feel supported, they're not going to do the best job that they can do. They may even abandon the work. So providing the best tools and training based on where you are in your project work is one of the cornerstones of the Compass platform. And if you don't reach out to Compass, if you don't go into Compass, Compass may reach out to you through these automated reminders. At any point in time, you can go in as a member of management and evaluate the status of projects that are in flight or projects that have been completed. But again, Compass may reach out to you to remind you of approaching milestones, because let's face it, the whole point of launching these projects was to finish them. At the end of the day, we have tools for management and staff. Those are going to be sort of up in the upper hemisphere there, and then on the bottom hemisphere are going to be the tools and resources for the folks that are doing the heavy lifting of the improvement work. And again, back to one of the design philosophies is we really were looking to create a platform to unify these audiences so that they could collaborate on one platform. They could reduce their spend on commercial software packages that do this same thing that Compass does already. So organizations that are using Visio or Minitab, QMacros, Sigma XL, all great products, but frankly, Compass does the same thing. And so you can reduce your spend as well as increase the level of collaboration and communication across the enterprise when everybody is working on one platform, the Compass platform. I think I only have a few minutes, Liz, if that's right, if we're aiming for 45 total. So I think in maybe 5 minutes or so, I can give the audience just a very quick peek, if that's okay with you.
Yep, that would be great. Thank you.
So we're showing you here the live platform. This is the platform that we're partnering with EZSigma on, and Compass, as I mentioned, is configured for our customers, so it'd actually be your logo in the upper left-hand corner. All your users would be loaded into the system So they're in a familiar environment. I'm clicking through here and showing you that pipeline of ideas. So if I wanted to go in and actually vote or comment on an idea, it's as simple as clicking on the idea, going into the rating and comments area. And while this particular idea didn't have any stars associated with it, I'm going to go ahead and put something in there real quickly. And we're going a long way towards demonstrating that we're listening and that we care about hearing from the employees. That idea now has 3.5 stars associated with it. Through the social media features up in the upper right-hand corner there, I can always know what activity I may have missed since the last time I signed in. But in addition, Compass will email me if I am a member of management to let me know that a new idea has been submitted or an idea is getting attention. If I want to put in a new idea, I've showed you this screen before, and the reason I wanted to show it to you again was because I intentionally went into my healthcare version, because I know we have a lot of folks on the program today that come from various health systems. And while in the prior slide you saw, I think it said customer experience and product quality, it's just an example to show you here that we can modify the field titles as well as the responses. We can change the algorithm behind these responses, and we can customize the operational definitions. So I have to say that most of our clients don't touch this. They like the way that we have laid this out, but knowing that the product is customizable is important to every buyer. So that's on the ideation side, and in terms of the actual project work that might be done as a result of launching some of those ideas. We can go into any live project here. I'm going to just show you very quickly because we didn't cover this in any of the prior PowerPoint slides, but this is the user interface for live projects. If someone was doing a DMAIC project, then they would expect to see this particular workflow. If they were doing PDCA, it wouldn't say define, it would say plan. It wouldn't say measure, it would say do. If they were doing a 5S project, it would lay out the 5S's here. So the point is that because Compass is agnostic to the methodology, we can accommodate any methodology. And there's a very good chance that the methodologies that you're using today are in here already. We provide the protocol for doing the work. Let me get down here to the measure phase, because I think I'm halfway through the measure phase of this particular sort of sample project. Compass is recommending a value stream map, and you'll remember now I've said a couple of times, it's all about making people feel supported. If they are little concerned about their skill set and doing a value stream map, they can look at the training that's offered. Compass will always recommend the best training based on where you are in a project. It actually shows me that I have various modules available for training. One of them is on value stream analysis. I can say Compass get me the training, but if I don't need that training, if I'm already experienced in the improvement work, I can look at the tools that are being recommended. Again, the best tools will be recommended based on where I am in my project work. And I can say to Compass, you know what, don't bother me with the training, just get me the tool. So all about making people feel supported, and that's why those are there. In addition to the workflow, we can get very detailed in Compass with a Gantt chart. If you've used a product known as Smart Sheets, you might recognize this as having a very similar look and feel. Compass will launch a template of a Gantt chart every time you launch a project in the system. So just like you can have an infinite number of methodologies, you can have an infinite number of Gantt chart templates. All the tools that you would find in common software packages to support improvement work are included. So while on the previous slide in screen you saw that we're recommending tools, if all a user needs is a tool, we're not going to make them launch a project. If all they need is an FMEA, they can come out here and get it. These tools are very portable, by the way, unlike competing systems where, if you're a licensee, you have access to the tools, but nobody else does. In this case, when you click on any tool, it's going to download the tool to your hard drive. You'll have it. You don't need to be connected to the internet any longer, and you can share it with other people in the organization. So they're very portable. The training that's included in Compass has been sold all over the world as a separate licensed product by the American Society for Quality. This is the training that you're seeing here is very lean-centric. And if someone were to go through this training from the beginning to the end, they'd be qualified to sit for the ASQ exam and be certified. We also have the complete body of knowledge for the Six Sigma Green Belt available, and can deploy whatever training modules that you want to see for your users. We were a training company 21 years ago before Compass even existed, so the training that we provide is probably one of the most highly evolved things that we can offer, with a very advanced user interface that's very engaging for users. So I'm going to stop there and see if you have any questions, because we were committed to making this a 45-minute program, and I've only just given you a peek into the top row here of the product. I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint deck and ask Liz if we have any questions so far.
Thank you, Ian. I think a lot of the tools you went through were very helpful, and I know especially for myself, having the ideation through the mobile app is fantastic, because I've had opportunities where I've been out, sometimes grocery shopping or whatever, and something hits me based on what I've seen, and I've had to text myself. So that's great. But we did have a question just about this solution, whether it's a hosted solution.
Compass is indeed a hosted solution, meaning that it's going to reside on virtual servers. Let me anticipate the next question about where those servers are. They're in Canada. We partnered with a Canadian company out of respect for concerns for our Canadian licensees. So the product is hosted in Canada, and we also offer an on-premise version. This would be for larger companies that really feel that because of security or privacy concerns, or that they feel that they want to control the destiny of the platform, we are probably the only company that can offer an on-premise version, meaning that you're controlling it locally. And the reason we are likely one of the only companies that can do that is because Compass was originally an on-premise product back over 10 years ago when it was first commercialized. And I believe all of our competitors were capitalized as hosted solutions. So they never went there with that particular offer, but we can certainly talk about that on-premise opportunity for organizations that might be interested.
Thank you. And another point that you had made was just about how important it is for the team to feel supported and to have that transparency. And I think that's especially poignant right now when so many teams are working separately because of COVID, and we're remote teams, whereas we don't have that interaction that you would normally get in an office space when teams actually come together and are there physically together. So knowing that right now everyone is spread out, a lot of people are working from home using their own home internet service provider, what is the security with this software, and how secure can it be when it's being used from multiple locations?
Well, that's a good question. That may be above my pay grade when it comes to describing the level of technical security. Because it is a hosted solution and is backed up daily, the system is secure from any external threats. Let me say this though, for folks that might be concerned about, what happens with any sensitive information, any PHI. Compass is really tracking metadata. So if you were to have anything that is truly sensitive, that Compass is driving, it's likely going into a Compass tool that is residing behind your firewall because you have downloaded the tool. Once you download the tools where you're putting that sensitive information, Compass doesn't have any visibility into it. We as a company don't have any visibility into it because you've downloaded it. So it's as secure as your own local, firewalls and security protocols. If we are integrating with SharePoint, as we often do for some of our customers, we've built an integration with SharePoint, but here again, it's your SharePoint license. So any documents you're putting out on your SharePoint behind your firewall, subject to your own security protocols. If you think about Compass as sort of being like the medical record at the very high level, there's nothing really sensitive in that record. Anything that's sensitive is going to be stored locally anyway. I hope that helps.
Yes, that does. Thank you. Those were all the questions for now.
Okay. So I've left you at this point with just some testimonials from users, and you may be curious about G2. G2.com is a popular site for the evaluation of any business software. Any kind of software products that you might be considering if you're in a position to advocate or research. Go to G2.com. If you punch up Compass, you can read even more reviews. We have we're north of 4 out of 5 stars on G2 and have been recognized as a high performer for I think 10 consecutive quarters ever since we were picked up by them. And we'd like to leave you with a discussion of some of the resources. I know Liz has some closing comments. I'd just like to offer you here, if you are interested in learning more, I mentioned before we have many white papers, many studies that have been done regarding the impact of project portfolio management systems. We also have a tool that we can offer to help you to build the business case internally. It's a return on investment tool that would use your own input assumptions. If you're in a position to present an opportunity to management, this ROI tool will configure the output in a management report that you can take right into a meeting and show people, here are the benefits that we think we can realize from this investment, and all of the assumptions are extremely conservative, so you can sort of take it to the bank as far as the ROI tool is concerned. With that, Liz, I'm going to turn it back to you for closing comments.
All right, thank you so much, Ian. So as Ian mentioned, and as I've put a note in the chat window, if you were interested in any of those resources, definitely please send either myself a note or Mike Ewing a note, and we'd be happy to provide those. Also, for those that may be interested in a little bit more education or interested in a little bit more information about Compass, we are very happy to schedule a demo for you. So again, you can reach out to us directly there. And the ROI tool, which Ian showed throughout earlier in this webinar, if that is something that you think you would find beneficial to your organization, we're happy to share that as well for you. So I'll include some information about those pieces within the email when I send out a link to the recording of this. But as far as any further training or coaching services, EZSigma also does provide that through e-learning, virtual training, certification, and we are still continuing our discount during this time that we're in right now with COVID. So again, feel free to reach out to us if you're interested in any of that. You'll also be receiving a notification about some exciting new micro courses that we're going to be introducing later this fall and early next year. So this is part of our 2020 webinar series. For those of you that have been joining us every month, it's fantastic to continue to see your names. I don't really see your faces, but it's great to see your names. Come and join us. We've got 3 more webinars coming up this year. You can see them here on your screen. An invitation will be sent out so you can sign up for these webinars. And if you have any suggestions of topics that you'd like to hear us speak on, please let us know, and we will definitely put that in the roster for 2021. So we just want to thank you once again for joining us today. It's been wonderful having this time. I also want to thank Ian for taking some time out to walk us through Compass. And as he mentioned, we're very excited about this new partnership between EZSigma and Creato. So again, thank you everyone for joining us, and have a wonderful afternoon.